Thank you so much, Aziz. I'm so happy to be here with all of you today. Happy International Youth Day, everyone. So my name is Fabienne. I'm representing the United Nations World Food Programme today. The United Nations World Food Programme is the global anchor for Action Track 5, right? Which is about building resilience to vulnerability, shocks, and stresses. What I would like to talk to you a little bit about is, okay, so what is a food system, right? I mean, Mr. Cafero had already mentioned a little bit about it. A very simplified way of looking at the food system is to look at sort of 3 stages. Food production. This includes, harvesting, land clearing, preparation, input provision, that sort of thing. A second stage could be described as food transformation. So it's about transport, it's about storage, handling, processing, these areas. And then a third stage could be described as food consumption, where it's really about, the purchasing of food, the consumption of food, the utilization of food by people. But at every stage of the food system, there are challenges, unfortunately, right? And these challenges range from, poverty, COVID-19, colleagues have mentioned it, floods, drought, conflict, economic shock, things like rising temperatures. And these are all challenges that have serious effects, right, on these different tracks, the different stages of the food system. So what I would like to do with you is just to quickly run through them, right? Like, what are these particular challenges for Nigeria? We're talking about, vulnerability, shock, stresses. What does that mean? Often we use these terms interchangeably, in a way, people might find that it's all about semantics a little bit. But just to say that, for the purposes of the discussion, it might be good to frame it a little bit. So, vulnerabilities, what do we mean? Well, for example, really the limited capacity of people to cope, resist, and recover from shocks and stress. So as an example, I mentioned it before, we could talk about widespread poverty, for example, across the country, which is unfortunately a fact. Then, when we're talking about shocks next to vulnerabilities, what are we talking about? For example, what we could say is that these are really sudden events with a very negative impact on communities. So, for example, the conflicts in the Northeast and the Northwest, these are shocks, sudden events that are actually really negatively impacting food security and nutrition. The COVID pandemic, which kind of hit us in a way, right? We didn't really see it coming, as well as a drought in the Middle Belt, which I'm sure a lot of you know about. Then thirdly, stresses. What do we mean by that? We could talk about different pressures, for example, that are continuous and growing, such as temperature rises as a result of climate change. Now, this all sounds really, troublesome, right? And I really don't want to be gloomy on happy, International Youth Day. And the solutions are definitely out there. The approach around the action track is really to explore solutions with a wide range of stakeholders, including, of course, the youth, to ensure that food systems in Nigeria can maintain their functionality, rapidly recover from the effects of shocks, and also address these vulnerabilities and stresses that I just mentioned. And if we find these solutions together, I would like to dare you to really discuss today with all of us what these solutions might be. I'm sure you have a lot of really great ideas that you can share. The solutions will hopefully really get Nigeria to a more resilient country, and where everyone, is equipped to really address future vulnerability and stresses. So let's continue that conversation together. Some of you had mentioned Lagos. I mean, Nigeria is obviously much bigger than Lagos, right? But we do know that a lot of exciting things are happening there. I was in Lagos a couple of weeks ago. I'm in Abuja now. I met a couple of very, very inspiring young entrepreneurs as part of an innovation challenge that we organized. And they came up with these excellent ideas to address all these type of challenges that I mentioned. So I know the ideas are out there. So let's discuss them together today. Thanks so much, everyone. And thank you, Aziz. Over to you.